weather forecast today?
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, but again, away feels like it's been a freaking...
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Social Beaches. I'm Carolyn Smith,
I'm Kelly Bowling.
and we sell real estate all along the Space Coast and into Indian River County. We would love to hear from you if you're looking to buy or sell or just have a general real estate question. You can call us, 321-422-2160. You can also text that number. But we would love to have you comment or send us a DM on whatever platform you're watching us on, or email us at hello@coastalestateteam.com.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about some property predators, which Kelly came up with. I love that. But first, we're going to talk about a few comments that we've had on previous podcasts that we think are interesting. One of them was the vocal fry.
Do people even really know what that is?
I didn't know what it was.
Look, this is the voice I was born with, and I understand that it's not everybody's cup of tea. In fact, when I was a little girl, I used to hit the record button on that boombox, and I'd play my, I'd say something, wasn't singing, and then I'd play it back and be like, oh, is that what I sound like?
I think everybody.
We all do that, right?
Yeah, I think when you record yourself and you hear it back, you're like, that is not what I sound like.
But I'm like, when I look up the definition of vocal fry, I'm not seeing I just don't see it.
The Kardashians do it. This
Yes.
is what so I looked up vocal fry. I watched probably 30 minutes of explanation of what vocal fry is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have vocal fry or not. Probably y'all can tell me. But anyway, but I was like, they were like repeating that it's the end of the sentence or the end of what you're saying, and it's the way like your voice goes deeper or something,
down, right.
Goes down, like down an octave or something.
I guess I could just start talking in a really high-pitched voice all the time. Sound like Minnie Mouse.
The Kardashians, I guess all the Kardashians do it because they were in a lot of the different examples that I
Yes,
saw.
I've seen them referenced when you look up vocal fry. There's a lot of that in there.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with sounding like them. I just wish that my bank account matched theirs. That would be fine. I'd be okay with that.
Not our butts, but our bank account.
No.
Sorry.
If I didn't have to do the squats, so yeah, that'd be fine. So, yeah, that's an interesting one, the vocal fry. But it is what it is. That's what we sound like.
Yes, that's what we sound like. And then the other fascinating one is people call us Boomer Karens. Well,
Boomer Karens.
Boomer
It's
Karens.
like, let's insult you in two ways.
Yes.
No offense to boomers or Karens.
No.
Like
but
people who are
we're
actually
not old
named
enough
Karen.
to be boomers.
No, we're not.
I'm closer than Kelly. Let's just.
But we're both
quite
Gen
a bit
X.
closer. Yeah, we're both Gen X.
Both Gen X.
I'm proud of it.
I would show you my driver's license, but those photos are terrible on the driver's license.
You can't
They're never
smile.
good.
Can you smile in other states? I wonder if you can smile in
Do
other
they
states.
let you here? I don't know. I don't attempt to.
No, they do not.
They tell you not to?
No,
I guess if you get pulled over, you're not going to be smiling.
It's not only do they tell you not to, they won't take your
won't take
picture
your photo?
smile. No, you cannot smile. And you used to be able to. I just want you to know that if somehow I was able to keep, like when I first got my license in like the beginning, you could smile. And then when I went in to have my picture retaken for one of the times, then you had to like update the whole thing.
Yeah.
They were like, no smiling.
It's like a passport photo.
Yeah. Oh, you can't smile for a passport
I don't think
photos?
so. I think you're not supposed to. I don't
Why?
know. It's been a while since I had to take one of those because you
Weird.
just, it
Yeah.
is weird.
It's weird. It's
So,
weird. But we're not
just
boomers.
blank-faced.
We might occasionally be Karens, but I don't think we're Karen. And do you know that they call people Karens now for like someone who calls us a Karen for just like something very random? And I'm like, we're talking about something that's we're not criticizing
we weren't complaining
anyone.
or criticizing
No,
We
it's
were
just weird
speaking
stuff. And
on
I'm like,
the
I
topic,
feel
yeah.
like people just now throw that out there to say, we don't like you.
It's just a generic way
Yes.
to insult somebody without
Yes.
really having a reason. I think
Yes.
that's true.
And
I don't like to use that term because I have dear clients and their name is Karen. So
Yeah.
no, and she's not a Karen at all, actually.
The poor Karens. I
I
feel sorry for
know.
anyone named Karen. It's not as popular of a name as
Yeah.
It's like an older name.
It is an
People
older name.
No one's naming their kid Karen now.
I wonder if they ever insulted people like in past days, like they just chose a name, like I don't know, like she's such an Ethel. You know what I mean? Like, is that a thing? We just like get a different name that nobody has
so
named.
awesome.
That'd be great.
Such an Ethel, such a Gertrude.
Right? That would be a better one. That'd be a better
Oh
one.
my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And there was another, the rich thing, but I think we've talked about that.
Yeah,
think
people
we're
will just
rich.
assume that we're rich and entitled or privileged or whatever. And okay, am I privileged? Yes, but I've worked to get to where I am. Nobody just handed me anything. Was not born into money, nor do I have a fat bank account. So
Yeah.
I can't just go pay cash for a home. I'm a normal person.
Did you see Dave Portnoy's on Call Her Daddy, like the clips of the interviews? And so she's like, so how much, and he's like, yes, I'm wealthy. And then she was like pinning him down. I saw the one this morning they added, and she was like 400 million. He's like, no, not that much. And then she's like 300, and he didn't answer. And then she goes 200. He goes, well, and then she started to answer. She said 100. He said, oh, no, more than that. So like Dave Portnoy, 200 million, 300 million.
And
like that's rich.
I'm out of touch. I don't even know who he is. What does he do?
Oh, Barstool Sports.
Oh, see, I don't know that.
Do you not know Dave Portnoy?
No, that's a sports thing, so no.
No, but it's not just sports thing. Like he does the pizza reviews. Have you ever seen like he does pizza reviews?
Nope. No, I'm under a rock over here.
He owns the Call Her Daddy podcast.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Because she was leaning into him about some situation about him dating younger women while he was still married.
Well, he's still married, so then he
Yes.
got his wife on the thing and said that the judge won't let him get divorced because it was being unfair to the wife because I guess he wasn't giving her half his. They don't have a prenup because they got married when they were young.
And he needs to give her more than half, just for having to be married to him, I think. So I saw clips. I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him.
Oh my gosh.
That's just my opinion.
Do y'all know Dave Portnoy?
I'm sure they do.
He's got Miss Peaches. Well, you would like him. He has a rescue dog,
Okay.
Miss Peaches.
Okay.
She's as famous as him
I don't know
now.
anything about
Okay,
the dog
I'm
either.
gonna have to- I
This
have
is
to-
terrible. I need to go into a deep dive. I need to stop doing so much rabbit holing on the next topic that we're doing and spend more time on like pop culture.
This is
apparently.
what I do before I go to bed when I'm laying in bed. I'm watching TikToks, and I know way too much about Dave Portnoy.
So funny.
Okay, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about property predators, which Kelly came up with that. I love that. Unveiling
Yes.
real estate crime. So first we're going to talk about what happened recently with one of my... So when someone is going to show usually a high-end property, we don't do it on all properties, but we assume that the buyer's agent, and you know what they say about assuming, the buyer's agent should not be taking someone out without knowing in advance that they're pre-qualified, pre-approved for a loan, like having that paperwork,
Right.
or proof of funds.
Yes.
We don't take people
Well, that's
out.
so that you're not wasting your time for one.
Yes.
Because if they can't buy at that price point, why are we looking at
Why
it?
are we looking at things that people can't buy? But also, especially in higher end homes, just to make sure that they're legit, we're not taking them into a home that maybe they shouldn't be in.
Right.
You know, maybe
I
there's
mean,
expensive things in there or
Well,
whatever.
that or just, it's also an inconvenience to the seller. They're
Yeah,
having to
the
get their
seller
home
has to
ready to
pack.
show. Usually an agent has to go and accompany
Yes.
these. And that's
Yes.
another reason why, because you're not just wasting your agent's time and your own time, you're wasting two other sets of people's time if you're not qualified.
Yes. So this agent had called to see one of my listings and showed it. But the buyer, there was a more expensive home even than that one. And the buyer helped himself, went back without the agent at night with a girl.
With a lady
A,
friend.
a lady
And
friend.
a dog.
And a dog.
Don't forget the dog.
And a dog. And helped himself into the house. So on our listings, we use electronic lock boxes and all this, but apparently that home had some sort of combination type access. I don't know if it was
Whether
a
it was a
combination.
keypad on the door
Yeah.
or a combination box.
And I'm sure that the agent didn't give it to him, so he probably was watching. Was It's
easy to do.
to see.
Look over their shoulder.
Yeah, so electronic lockbox, you have to have an app that's provided by the Realtor board, and they're like Fort Knox. I mean, literally, you can't get the things off if
No.
you can't get into them and you can't get them off. But
Right.
this somehow he got into the house at night, helped himself to the bed of the owners,
Watched
watched
some
TV with
used-
this lady friend.
Used the bathroom,
Yeah.
charged his phone.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
told the woman, the lady friend, that he was buying the house.
Yes, and that his realtor said they could just come back and, try before you buy, because
Yeah.
that's normal.
So the owners had security cameras, had called the police. The man was arrested. for breaking and entering, trespassing,
theft of a utility.
theft of utility because he charged his
Over
phone.
100 and less than 750, so somewhere in there. Because that, and he did use the bathroom, so is that water?
Water and maybe hot water.
Yeah.
I don't know. So he was arrested, and it's just creepy. Well, first of all, they're very lucky that he wasn't in there to do harm, to steal things. I don't know if they had valuables in the home. They obviously don't live there or weren't home at the time. And he knew that from visiting. So the thing that we want to say is these people, just because somebody calls us and says, I mean, we have it happen. I mean, I hate to say how often we have it happen, but every few months someone will call us with this story about how they're buying a $5 million house, and they have all this money. They and we have means now to research people.
Yes, we do. We have multiple means, especially we have some apps that are provided to us through our board and the state to check criminal history of buyers, and we can check by name, by phone number to see does that phone number match who this person says they are.
Right.
We get text messages all the time of people. I had one yesterday. I want to buy 3 single family homes. Can you help me? You look up the phone number, it doesn't go to anything.
Yeah.
So it's like a burner number.
Yeah.
No. I don't even speak. I just move on, block that number, and get on with my life because it's a waste of time.
It's true, and it's hard when you are maybe a younger agent or starting out. Somebody contacts you and says they want to buy, even a $1 million house or a $2 million house.
Yeah.
In our area, they're excited and they want to show them, and they're not asking
jump how high they're told to jump just to get in.
And we have been provided fake proof of funds before.
Yes.
I will say that we have been provided bank statements that were altered, and we couldn't tell that they were altered initially, but you have to go through a lot to find out, is this person legitimate? And
so when we're asking questions, it's not because necessarily that we don't believe you. It's that we need to ensure for our safety and, so that we're not wasting time, that you are who you say you are. And I've found, too, that people who are legitimate don't have any issue providing you with what you need.
No, they don't. They don't mind providing it. But we don't know you. So when we're asking for proof of funds or a pre-approval letter, we don't know you. And you know you, and you're thinking, why are they asking me for that? I'm offended.
Right.
But don't be offended. Don't be offended, because if you were a seller, you would want the agent who's showing your house to make sure that the buyer they're bringing in your home is a legitimate buyer, and not someone casing the joint,
right?
Exactly. Or someone looking to do harm.
It's just crazy to
or
me.
Break in and
casing. I wonder how he chose. I'm sure that he chose that home because it had a keypad access. It was vacant. He thought he could get away with it. Whereas your listing is on a Supra. There's no way. And it has a gate.
My owner lives there.
Well, that too.
It's owner occupied and. Yeah.
And those are all things that they can glean from going with their agent to, I mean, she essentially was accompanying him all his casing activities.
Yes.
And that poor woman that he took there. I have to imagine she was innocent in all of this. I don't know for a fact.
Please show up and tell her,
he was trying to impress
she wasn't
the woman.
Arrested, so we assumed.
I assumed she was just somebody was trying to be impressed over there.
And we want to know what happened to the dog.
I'm very curious about the dog. Yeah,
who took the dog?
Whose dog?
Maybe it was the woman's dog.
I hope it was her dog. Well, it is now, maybe.
And his address on his police report, we looked at that. It was outside of Orlando.
$3 million house in Windermere that he put as his home address, which is not linked to his profile on the app that we use.
Oh, well,
and
it's not. It's.
And he's also not
the owner.
No, he's not.
So
the
I'm like,
owner.
is he renting?
Well,
the
he
$3
also
million?
has an out-of-state driver's license in
Oh
another
yeah, we
state.
found him in another state where he had 60 criminal infractions
for
bad checks,
defrauding innkeepers, hotel, and then bad checks. And,
nothing violent, but but a lot of
So that was Kelly's rabbit hole last week. I enjoyed that.
We were having a good time with
that. And then last week was the fraudster week.
Yeah.
I had somebody call me about some land that they wanted to sell. It was about 4.5 acres in Fellsmere, and they gave me their name, the wife's name, because it's owned jointly. Gave me emails for both, phone numbers for both of them. And it was weird, though, because the phone number that he gave me for him and the wife weren't matching what I was finding on Forewarn. So then I was like, what is your home address, where you're living now? And he gives me the address that's in the tax rolls for these people. I said, great. And that's the notary will be coming there. He's
Right.
like, yes. And I'm like, okay. So then I was like, something's not sitting right. And there's some red flags. And it was the phone number thing. That was a red flag. The email addresses he sent me were like Outlook email addresses.
Which
instead
is
of,
nobody.
it's odd.
Yeah,
it's very
unusual.
rare. And it's like their name and then some numbers. And I get this too with Gmail where it'll be like somebody's name and like 4 numbers at the end. That's a red flag to me because we get a lot of those hits like,
Yeah.
I want to work with you.
Yeah.
But the biggest one was at the very end, after I sent him listing paperwork to sign. So he has now signed, he's forged signatures, we don't want a sign on the property for reasons only known to my wife and I. And I'm like, red flag. So then I go back to the Forewarn. I find the phone numbers that go to the names, right?
Yeah.
And I pick up the phone and I call it.
Yeah.
And a man answers and I'm like, hi, is this so-and-so? And he was like, yes. I was like, oh, hi, it's Kelly Bowling at Compass. And I got quiet and he was quiet. And I said, about your land in Velsmere that you're trying to sell? And he's like, I said, did you call me earlier? He goes, no, but maybe my wife did. And
Yeah.
I said, no.
It was a man, right?
So I just let him know, hey, somebody's out here pretending to be you guys and trying to sell your land. And there's a lot of this going on. It's rampant. But I sent him some resources. Like you can register. Brevard doesn't have this. We need to get on the board.
Yeah, Brevard.
But Indian River does. You can get alerts with the clerk of courts.
Yeah.
So that anytime anybody tries to do anything, transferring ownership of your property, it sends you an email alert. And then you have to acknowledge that, yes, that's legitimate.
So why doesn't, I wonder how many counties actually have that?
A lot.
Oh, they do?
A lot in Florida have it. I don't
Yeah.
know why we're not on the list, and I'm sure it's a technology thing maybe, but it needs to be.
Yeah.
That needs to happen.
Yeah. Because
But our
it's
title
scary.
company has a lot of things which they're doing. So they have their closing lock system now,
Yeah.
the ones that we use.
Yeah.
And then I had a client who is legitimately selling some land. He got a letter in the mail at his address on file, right? That's on file with the property appraiser.
Yeah.
That says, hi, this is so-and-so at this title company, and we're sending you this letter as a fraud preventative method because your land is being sold. So they're mailing a physical letter to
That's
the
good.
property address, and he was like, is this legitimate? And so she confirmed it, yes, it's legitimate. This is
good.
how we're preventing fraud. They're requiring photo identifications to be uploaded, second forms of ID, I think, even. They have a lot
They're
of
requiring the photo ID way in advance
really
now.
early. Not at the end when you sign, but in the beginning, pretty much when it starts.
It's,
yeah.
And the fraud, they do fake IDs,
Oh,
fake
yes.
driver's licenses, fake
I had a land deal a
passports.
couple years ago. D.R. Horton's acquisition people were trying to buy it, and they like to use their own title company. I had no reason to believe that these
This
weren't
was
the people.
before this was
We didn't know this was
commonplace.
going on.
Yeah.
We didn't have any warnings out yet. It was a while back. And these people submitted 2 forms of ID. One was a Chinese driver's license.
Yeah.
And the other was a Chinese passport.
Yeah.
And they both, for both of them, the same photo was used on both forms of ID, which I don't think you get both of those at the same place at the same time.
We don't know because it's Chinese.
Right.
but
And the dates of birth were different on each of the documents. And I'm like, really? Really? Amateurs, I swear. So they caught it right away. But these people had called me on the phone.
Yeah.
And from, an out of country
And they will.
number.
They'll call, like the
Yeah.
other guy called you, right?
Oh,
or was
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have to really work hard. So it's good also to maybe know your neighbors. So if somebody didn't ask or put a sign up, that your neighbors would call and say, are you selling your...
Well, so it turns out that across the street from this vacant land in Fellsmere,
Yeah.
it was his, I believe he said his sister-in-law and brother-in-law that
Oh.
lived there. And I'm like, do you think this guy knows that? Like, how would he know? But maybe he does, because it was a local number that had called me too, which I thought was odd, since they live in Texas
Yeah,
now.
that's
But
weird.
the guy said that they used to live here. So I'm like, is it somebody that knows them that's trying to
Yeah,
I don't
take
know,
advantage,
knows the
doing the
situation?
fraud, read about it in the news
So
and said, "Oh, let's
interesting.
try that."
So one more job that we have to add to our resumes
Yes.
as realtors is private investigators.
PI. Kelly's the best PI.
They just call
When
me.
it's because I was like, we need to know what this guy looks like, the one who broke in and stole the electricity and took a bath or whatever he did.
Yeah.
So she found his mugshot and all that
Yeah,
fun stuff.
it's all
But, yeah.
public record. It's nothing
Yeah.
that's not available. You just have to know where to look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we are doing that stuff
for sure. We're checking you out.
in a good way, though. We're
Yeah.
protecting you.
Yes.
We're protecting
Yes.
you. All right, that
I
it?
think that's it for today.
Okay, we'll talk to you all next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Weather forecast today.